Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning to everyone, and welcome and thank you for joining to us today. My name is Andrei Burlutsky, and it's my pleasure to host you today in the discussion how to boost employee net promoter score with artificial intelligence. We will be touching some points like elevate employee engagement, the learning and development, and retention. At Yalantis, we are very much committed to helping business bridge the gaps between tech leadership and tech talents through modern technology and software development practices. Today, we have an amazing speaker. Today, we have Denis Doronin, CTO at Yalantis. Hello, Denis.
Hi everyone, hi Andrew.
And we also have a Q&A session or Q&A box where you can get a chance to ask questions related to the topic using AI for eNPS improvements. So please put your questions in the chat box. It can be either chat box in on YouTube, or you can put comments right on this under the stream on LinkedIn platform. So choose whatever you prefer. So, Denise, we are happy to have you today. Dear audience, please enjoy our conversation, put your questions, and I'm releasing your presentations, your slides right now, and the stage is yours.
Thank you, Andrew. All right. Hi again, everyone. Today we have a pretty interesting topic, as for my opinion. So we would like to introduce you some of key aspects how can we integrate AI technology into HR function. So today, as Andrew mentioned it, we would dive into how can we boost employee net promoter score using different approaches, using different what we call agents, and actually how can we achieve a huge boost in some particular functions. Before we start, I would like to give you a little bit of background around what we are trying to explore today and what we have right now on the market. So globally, right now, we observe actually a huge boost in different AI technologies, in AI adoption particularly, using, for example, large language models. We all know that right now we can use OpenAI for multiple tasks. We know that there are a bunch of models that are evolving all the time, and each day we can get actually a new model. So basically, based on different researches, and right now we are looking into McKinsey report. They say that multiple companies can increase revenue using AI from 10% up to actually almost any number. And according to research, actually almost third of all companies they increasing their revenue by 6 up to 10%, introducing AI into human resources function. And actually, from our own experience implementing such projects, we see that our clients can actually achieve cost reduction up to 60% using AI technology. And actually today we are going to explore how can we do it. Moving to the next slide, actually we would like first to reveal what is problem statement for HR function. So what are we going to automate using AI technology? So all we know is that HR function contains multiple repetitive tasks. So basically, when we are talking about HR, up to 40% of time is spent on the repetitive tasks such as payroll management, employee record maintenance, multiple updates, going into different systems, and actually handle requests from employees. Sometimes we see that we can improve communication efficiency because approximately, for example, 15% of all of the time HR spent on operational tasks. So, for example, when we are overloaded with some operational work, of course, we may have delays in answering and actually solving tasks within this department. Plus, as I mentioned it before, actually when we have to go to multiple systems, multiple HRM systems, internal systems, we are spending additional time on doing almost the same tasks, right? So we are copying one information from one system, or we are actually inserting information into one system, and we are switching off onto another system, doing some another job, and of course here we see that we can improve efficiency. So what we are offering? So we are offering what is called agents, and those agents can solve three major uh, directions. So actually we can do smart automation, and such agents, they can reduce time spent on routine tasks up to uh, 37% according to our own estimates. And we can automate multiple functions, as we mentioned it in the left part of our screen. And actually such automation allows HR professionals to focus on more strategic initiatives. Another way that we can help with our solution, we can enhance communication. So, for example, using AI agent, you can actually spend 20% less time on transactional communication. So you can actually move that part of transactional communication to AI agent, and actually doing so, you can reduce potential delays in response to real people. Plus, of course, you can streamline system navigation because using AI, you can combine different systems, subsystems, you can fetch data out of them, automate it. And using AI technology, of course, you can do what is called text generation, right? So basically, you can wrap every response from multiple systems into human readable format and send it back to your end users. So let's dive deeper into challenges in HR operation. So we can talk a lot about multiple challenges. We can talk lots about inefficiencies, about transactional communication, but in particular, we can think about multiple routine tasks. So, for example, when we have newcomers, we always answer the same questions. We can handle employee feedbacks. We can work with uh, multiple questionnaires. We can actually uh, think about finding information across multiple systems. If we are overloaded, of course, we are humans, we can make errors, we can make mistakes, and that, of course, will decrease our employee satisfaction. So all of that stuff requires us to think about how can we transform HR function using AI technology. And since right now we have such powerful mechanism, we can automate some portion of transactional communication, and we can actually do smart searches. We can integrate with internal systems, external systems. We can do multiple automations using our approach. So as for technical solution, I mentioned it a couple of times that first we would like to use large language models because they can provide you flexibility while you are searching multiple information across your internal systems. Plus, large language models they have generative capabilities, and it means that you can use them for different textual generation, content generation, even for audio and video generation if needed. But in our today's case, we will speak mostly about text generation. We can think about mm, multiple updates out of our existing database or our knowledge base. So essentially, it's very important to keep all of the information up to date. For example, when we are using ChatGPT from OpenAI, we all know that they have limitations in terms of knowledge base, right? So when we are using GPT-3, for example, it's limited to certain year, and we can get up-to-date knowledge base, and that's a huge issue with such models because you can get actual information. What we do in our technical solution, we retrain, and we are constantly adding knowledge base when it's updated. So it means that if, for example, you are using Atlassian Confluence for all of your documentation, once you are publishing new document, it should be processed by our HR agent, and it would be included into model context. It's really important because in that case, all of your employees will always get up-to-date information on their request. Of course, we are thinking about customizations, about flexible user interface, about contextual understanding. So all of personal interactions with chatbot, they can be accounted and actually reflected in searches that our users are performing. So such features they allows us to build robust solutions that actually will incorporate the majority of features needed to actually boost HR function. Speaking about how we do it, I would like to present you our business architecture. I will not dive deep into low-level details of technology, but I will explain essentially what do we have inside our AI agent, what are major components, or in other words, what are different layers of our solution. So all starts, of course, from document processing or your knowledge-based processing. So we need to pick up all of your documents, we need to parse them, we need to prepare all of the documents so machine learning model will understand it. So it's called actually embeddings generation. So we need to transform all of the textual data in a way that LLM model will understand it. And of course, we need to manage those documents, right? So for example, if we have multiple role in our organization, we would like to actually introduce security within our AI assistant, right? So we don't want some roles to actually interact with all of our documentation. So for example, you have some sensitive information that is accessible only to top management, and it means that we need identity access management mechanism, and that is all possible with admin functionality. So essentially, document processing layer provides us capability to take your documents, take your knowledge base, process them, convert into suitable for machine learning model format, and actually put some access rights to those documents, or for example, completely remove document if we are not using it anymore. Then, of course, the next layer would be our data storage. So it means that we need to store documents somewhere. We need a special type of database for our machine learning model. And of course, we will need some traditional, I would say, storage for all of the AI agent metadata. I mean, for example, if we would like to store additional links to original documents, if we would like to store history, if we would like to actually keep all of the feedback from the users. That's why we need different types of storages. So it's not just one big storage where we store everything. So here we have like different storages for different purposes. Then of course we need ML model itself, right? So machine learning model will perform different tasks. In our case, it will perform semantic search, so meaning that it will search for relevant information, not just based on keywords, but based on meaning of the phrase. Then, of course, we have to handle all the requests from our users. We need to do search in our metadata if needed. And very important aspect is we need to put some guardrails and checks for response relevance. And it means that, for example, as I've mentioned before, we have identity access management mechanism. We need to check all of the permissions. We need to check that actually machine learning response is relevant to our user. So we have multiple occurrences in industry that, for example, when you are entering public chats that are powered by, for example, some LLM or AI technology, and you're asking completely non-relevant to the topic question. So, for example, you're going to a website, you would like to buy a car, and you're asking to write Python script. So of course that's nonsense. Chatbot should not respond with Python script that will do something, right? So it should be relevant to domain. It should be relevant to functions that we are trying to solve. That's why we are limiting our ML model response, so it is only relevant for the topic we are asking it for. Next layer, it's called middleware, and essentially it's a proxy between our end users and our machine learning model. So in this layer, we are handling multiple integrations. So our architectural approach is that we are integrating with your existing systems or provide custom integrations. And that's a good layer where we can handle all of the business logic regarding how your HR function operates. So basically, in some cases, we will transform response from our user. For example, if we need to support some language that we cannot find a trained model for, we can use translation first. For example, translate from one language to another language, find information within, for example, English knowledge base, and convert response back to user and translate it actually back to user in a language of your preference. And of course, as I mentioned it, here we need to understand the request itself. So here we would like to parse it, work with it a little bit, and only after that we are sending it back to ML model for response. Uh, in the right side, of course, we would like to integrate with some existing messaging systems. So if you're using, for example, Microsoft Teams, or if you're using Slack, that's all known technologies. We can work with it. We can integrate it with the majority of existing messaging systems. And in such way, your users can work with familiar user experience, do user searches, ask clarification questions, or use actually our AI agent as a help center. Going into next slide, and here we are coming to a topic: what are our HR agent support? So we actually decompose all of our agents into concrete functions. So for example, if you would like to focus more on some particular function, we can do it using our approach. And actually, in terms of functions, we do resume screening and applicant tracking, employee onboarding, benefits and policies information, training and development programs, employee feedback and surveys, performance review assistance, salary and compensation analysis, employee offboarding. So it means that our agents, they are divided into such, I would say, buckets. And for example, if we need to focus more on employee onboarding, we just pick up your knowledge base, we train or retrain our agent, and from that point of time, it works with your up-to-date information and can provide relevant information to newcomers. And actually, later on, I will explain you in more details how it will work. Speaking about integrations, of course, we are not living in empty space, right? Or we are always talking that we will integrate with your existing landscape. That's why it's super important to support within our solution different integrations and different capabilities. So of course, all of the existing businesses, they have their own identity providers. So you may use, for example, Google Workplace to manage your user identities. You can use Active Directory or solutions from Microsoft to manage all of your users. So we have a bunch of technologies to support, right? But they are working with particular protocols. They are working with known technologies, and it's all incorporated into our integrations. Of course, we mentioned it that on the previous slide that we can integrate with communication platforms such as Slack, Microsoft Teams, and all other messaging systems with different knowledge base systems. So it could be Confluence, it could be Notion, it could be something else, with multiple HRN systems, calendars, help desks, and learning management systems. So it is possible to do custom integration. So, for example, if you are using different technology from what we have mentioned on this slide on the right part, it doesn't mean that we cannot integrate with it. It's all possible. It's just a matter of some additional time to do custom integration to our HR agent. Speaking about what we have implemented so far, right now we have fully implemented onboarding agent, offboarding agent, FAQ agent, and employee feedback agent. So right now we are working with different integrations. We have a backlog for implementation for future, and from if you do again if you don't see any particular integration, that doesn't mean that we cannot do it. It's all possible to do because we are following modular architecture, and that means that we are not tied to particular technology. It's all possible to do like Lego blocks. So basically we have a foundation that works with particular set of technologies, but we can actually develop new block and actually plug it into our solution. Speaking about examples, let's take a look into our onboarding agent, how it works. For example, our AI agent can automatically generate department-specific checklist. So, for example, you are onboarding engineer, you are onboarding operational manager, you are onboarding delivery manager. Uh, each time and for each specific role, you will have a dedicated checklist, right? So sometimes we need to fill some forms, sometimes we need to go and watch and actually pass some trainings, and that could be automated with the AI agent, right? So AI agent can collect that checklist, it can personalize, make personalizations if needed, and actually such agent can send those checklists to newcomer. Then you can actually take a look and track progress, and of course that will speed up for time. So in some cases we observed that onboarding time was reduced from 2 weeks to several days, because actually AI agent sends all the information almost immediately, right? So you're not waiting for response. You can just ask AI agent to provide you additional information on some particular point in your checklist or some particular step, explain it in some simple words, and in majority of the cases, it solves the problem, right? So when you are not familiar with the organization, all of the basic questions could be handled just by AI agent response. Of course, if you have some complex questions, you can still connect to your HR and ask additional questions, but for majority of the cases, time can be reduced up to 50% such type of onboarding. And of course, such mechanism, it will increase new hire satisfaction, and by our measure, it would be somewhere around 30%. Speaking about FAQ agent, it's another type of solution we can provide to you. And such agent is built to answer questions based on your knowledge base. So, for example, you have company policies, you have some, I don't know, benefits or some details on how person can request additional stuff within the organization, and such questions, they appear a lot, right? That's not only for newcomers, that's for all the people. How do we request day off? How do we request sick leave? So such questions typically are raised during actually day-to-day work. In such case, again, we can pick up knowledge base from you. We can train our HR agent. We can add all those documents into our system. And when some person interacts with our AI assistant, we provide response based on your knowledge base. And we are using here AI technology in order to make summarizations. So it means that our model can rephrase uh, output from your documentation and actually uh, make summary, short summary for uh, end user. In case when you need more information, our HR agent can actually send you original link to original documentation, so you can visit it, take a look into more details. But essentially, that also will speed up day-to-day work and speed up and actually low communication time between different employees. And the big benefit of all of our HR are agents that we are not using external models. What does it mean? So we are not just integrating OpenAI into our solution, right? So we are not sending any data to any external service. All of our models, they are private, so it means that we can actually deploy our solution to your infrastructure. You will have full control over that infrastructure, and we guarantee that your data never leaves your secure perimeter. And that's super important, because right now there are lots of solutions that actually wraps existing good technologies, right? So as I've mentioned it, OpenAI and actually ChatGPT. Right now, there are multiple solutions that under the hood are using this technology because it's super powerful, but not all organizations can live with such security and privacy risks. So that's why we designed our solution to be fully private. And returning back to our FAQ agent, so for such type of queries regarding multiple frequently asked questions, we can reduce communication up to 65%. We can again decrease response time up to minutes from probably even days for some cases. And of course, that all ends also into increasing employee satisfaction. Okay, so I would like to summarize what we have mentioned so far in our slide deck. So basically, we transform HR function using AI technology, using recent large language models and smart document processing. We can personalize and streamline onboarding. We can actually reduce transactional communication, in some cases up to even 70%. We can work with advanced analysis of employee feedbacks. So based on responses, we can collect all of that information, show statistics, actually provide additional and extended feedback on how different functions are working. So actually, it is all possible to collect with our agent technology. And of course, that's all lead into cost optimization, because since we can remove some portion of transactional communication or frequently asked question, so we can actually focus more on other tasks, and that leads to uh, efficiency of HR department. So basically, that's what is possible to do with our solution, and that's pretty much all I would like to show you today. So thank you everyone for watching. I hope it was insightful for you. And actually, please follow with our next webinars. So we will send you uh, link to our next webinar shortly. So please stay in tune with us.